Hey, what's up, man? What's going on?
Another week, another dollar. Looks like you got some updates going, Shu. I saw some of your saw some of the Bambi content this morning from probably from one of your influencers, I think.
Yeah. We had one of our UGC creators.
So
Yeah,
did you
we're
get
good.
you
We're
get
rolling.
posting rights for that?
Yeah.
Like so you can
Yeah.
post it
Yeah. Yeah, we have posting, tagging, and paid advertising rights unlimited, basically.
for forever?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I'm trying creators from a bunch of different places. There's ones where I'm just directly cold contacting them and then paying for the content. There's
Hmm.
other ones where I'm using trend.io, which is not bad, not great. It's okay for small creators, but their pricing is pretty BS. Um,
Yeah.
and then I'm trying Billow next and then creatorcontacts.com, which is one that you sent me a while ago.
Hmm. Are these all
So,
marketplaces for creators? Or
yeah,
like, oh, we'll
primarily. Yeah.
connect
So,
brands with creators.
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of them are BS, some of them are good. Um, you really get what you pay for UGC to a certain extent. And then in some cases, it gets outrageously expensive, but it's probably not justified. But I think if you're paying $100 per video, it's going to be pretty shit. But if you're paying 350 to 500 per video, it's normally going to be pretty good quality. Obviously depends, but like the bottom of the barrel, $100 a video is not the greatest content.
Yeah. For this strategy, are you looking for quantity at that level? And it's more about you getting content for your page for ads and things, or are you also thinking about the audience that they've already generated to as
Yeah, it's
well?
a bit of both. For just the UGC content, and we're using these creator platforms just about having the video and having advertising rights. But for the creators that we're manually DMing and partnering with, it's about the audience that they've already built. So
Hmm.
we have one creator that has 2 million followers across Facebook and Instagram, maybe 3 million now. They're honestly, they're fucking huge, which is great. It's exciting. I asked him not to post yet because our nutrition feature is launching next week and I'm really excited about it. So I want to include that in the content. But then some of the smaller guys, it's just about getting UGC content, getting content on the page, and really just seeing what sticks. Because at this point, I have no idea really what's going to work yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. My Instagram has been pumping in the last 2 weeks,
Yeah, I've noticed.
all due to consistency, But
Go figure.
go figure, right? Follow our own advice. But yeah, it's been pumping lately, and I mean, like clockwork, brands started like legitimate brands started reaching out again, and I closed 3 deals this last week, all for thousands of dollars per video,
Yeah.
basically. And what's really interesting is the negotiating tactics that some of these agencies slash businesses are using to work a deal with me when I am not down to do certain things. So, for example, like I'm not going to mention any names, publicly. I'll tell you later. But um, like for example, one wanted we were negotiating a normal deal, and I was like, okay, it's 1,500 for one video, and that gets posted to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, all the places. And we agreed, and then they came back, and in the deliverables they threw in we also want you to add it to our to your link in bio for a month, like something about the company. And I was like,
Mm-mm.
no, 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 that wasn't included. And my in the initial deliverables was 12 months posting rights, 12 months advertising rights. So I was like, no, that's not included. Or if you want to pay an extra 25% on top, then I'll do it. Yeah, because my profile gets a lot of engagement and action. So they came back and they said, well, we really want that. So I was like, all right, well, no posting rights, no advertising rights, and I will put it in my link tree, my version of link tree,
Hmm.
So it's not like the link. Like there's no amount of money that you could like pay me probably to replace putting Stammer in my bio.
Yeah, of course.
Like otherwise, like what am I
Also,
doing
what's someone going to
Instagram
pay
for?
you like $5,000 a month to have the link in bio when you're running a multi-million-dollar business and all of the traffic comes from your organic social
Yeah,
media?
yeah, exactly.
No, fuck off. There's no way.
Yeah, yeah. So that wasn't going to happen, but they actually agreed to that, which I thought was interesting because to me that shows that they really wanted my audience, not necessarily posting rights and advertising rights. So they were able to, flip-flop on that.
Hmm.
At the same time, a different company with the like did the exact opposite. They're like, we really want posting rights and advertising. They're like, we almost don't even care about your audience. It's more about you and like how you create content and how you position things and like in quote unquote in my voice or in my style.
Yeah.
It's like kind of same concepts all across the board, but they were fine with no like me not even posting it. I don't even have to post these on my account, which is
That's
strange.
surprising.
And I actually went back and I was like, can I post them to my account? Because I think it actually is like it's such a big brand that I'm like, I kind of want to post about it.
Is this the one we talked about off camera last week?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yeah. So, and they were like, yeah, probably, yeah, it's probably fine. So we'll see. We'll see. But
Okay.
yeah, I was like, all right, well, let me know.
I'm guessing we can't talk about the brand yet.
No, not yet.
Can we narrow it down?
I don't even want to get close. The contract that they sent me is ungodly corporate.
Okay. All right. No worries. I'll
So
keep my mouth shut.
yeah, yeah. But
I'm excited. I'm
great
excited for
company,
you. This is a
great
huge one.
yeah, great company to work with. Like I want to out like the one I did last or maybe 2 years ago now with DHL. I can talk about that one all I want. That similar level of multi billion dollar company that used an agency to then find creators, and somehow I got into that algorithm for that agency. What I'm and the same thing has happened with this new one. So I'm like, how do I get into these agencies that are dealing with these high level brands and not the $100 video offers that I get 5 fucking times a day?
Yeah.
Haven't solved that yet, but
It
um,
shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, these creator networks want the top quality creators, and you definitely fall into that tier. It should just be as simple as contacting them and saying, hey, I'm interested in working with you guys to help source deals.
yeah,
And they'll probably charge a ridiculous percentage, and it will be worth every penny because you're going to get in touch with these huge brands that you otherwise wouldn't be able to reach.
yeah, yeah. Because this one is 3, 4x my normal rate.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. That's huge. I'm a big fan of these creative agencies, not for me as the brand,
Yeah,
although they
yeah,
make it very convenient. It is extremely convenient when you find somebody great to deal with. But as a
yeah,
creator, you have to put in a lot of work to find these brands. And the the big thing is that the sales conversation changes if you as the creator are reaching out to the brand versus if the brand is reaching out to an agency to find creators. It's
yeah,
like, it's like a modern day version of finding a headhunter,
yeah.
right? The conversation is like, yeah, you came to me. I'm the guy. I'm the person that you're looking for. It's just a different conversation than if you had to reach out to, in this case, $1 trillion company and say, hey, I want to make videos for you.
And that's what I've found. Like I've never once reached out to a company ever to do a brand deal ever. It's
Yeah.
always been inbound. So I have, in some sense, I'm holding all the cards because I could just say no. Uh, but it's really nice when they pay a lot of money for a video.
Yeah,
Like,
of
it's
course.
great.
Of course. I've learned speaking with creators that the easier people to negotiate with are the people that don't have an active business that take content creation as their full time business. And it's because,
Easier, you said?
it's easier to negotiate with people that don't only do brand
Oh,
deals as their full-time income.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, so for you, how easy is it to turn down a deal? You're like, I don't care. I already have the money. We already have a profitable business that's
Yeah.
growing. I don't need this. But for you, if it's mutually beneficial, like if it's something in tech or AI and you make content about it and it's benefiting your channel and you're getting paid, it's just a win-win because you probably would have made that content anyways.
100%. There's a third one that reached out that I closed yesterday that it's a company that I'm already a paying customer of. And I have
Interesting.
been for over like a year.
Is this a software?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I absolutely love your product. I would be, and that's what I love is because I would have made a video about them organically with advice for my audience on how to improve their business. And that's my whole angle of this video that I'm going to be doing is like, here's the biggest mistake that I see creators and businesses make every single day. And it's so stupid easy to fix. Instead of using X, you use Y and it works.
Hmm.
And here's all the websites that I have in my own business or my own, portfolio that we use the same software for.
Can I guess what company this is?
Sure.
Is it GHL?
No. I wish that would be sick.
That'd be a good one. You should,
That
I
would
mean,
be really good.
that would be a huge one for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they do. I could be totally wrong. I don't think they do it because they have such a high affiliate margin.
I was going to say, yeah, it's probably not part of their growth strategy right now.
Yeah. But
But
I would
going back, sorry,
definitely.
going back, the creators I find that are easier to negotiate with are people that their entire livelihood is making content
Yeah.
because they're more concerned about the dollar and less concerned about all of the additional criteria like posting rights, advertising rights, collaborative rights. Link in bio, I haven't tried. That's an interesting one. But like sharing to story with the URL, like there's so many tiny little bonuses that you can get, or getting multiple videos for a overall reduced rate per video. There's so much more that you can do on the negotiation side for people that are like that, for people that that's their entire livelihood.
Yeah. One of the things that I always do when brands reach out, my first response is, hey, thanks for reaching out. Are you looking to do a one-off video or more of a long-term collaboration? Dot, dot, dot. And that completely sets it up for me to be like, all right, well, one video is way more expensive because it's going to take me more time to figure out like what your business even is and do a test trial, get an account, like especially if I don't already use like the ones that I already use and whatever, those are the outliers, I think. But like a lot of these, new AI companies, and I've got a lot of competitors come into my email and DMs, which is pretty funny because that tells me that they're just mass scraping like and spraying and praying basically of just see who accepts this super low ball offer for something or if it's literally a competitive product to Stammer. I'm like,
Hmm.
well, no, but
Yeah.
appreciate you reaching out. Yeah. That comes more directly from these business like the newer businesses where it's like the CEOs or the founder or CEOs reaching out themselves to do it
Hmm.
versus an agency, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, my Instagram, it's the first time it's actually I like reversed course. I'm growing followers again. First time in probably like a year and a half, 2 years, which is shocking. But
That's
again, like
interesting that your Instagram has like churn metrics. If churn were followers.
yeah, I there was like a thread or a video or something where it was talking about organic I think attrition is the right word, I believe. Um when you get to a certain following number, there are just there's so many people in that audience that there is going to naturally be a certain amount of people that their accounts are closed or they see your post and they followed you for one reason, but they see this one and now they unfollow you.
Hmm.
The amount of unfollows I got after I started posting consistently went up because people saw my content and are like, oh, I don't like this anymore or whatever, unfollow. But at the same time, new follows outpaced that increased rate of unfollows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the total action, I mean, the total action on my account right now has been up like almost 900% in the last 30 days.
It's the same thing as a growing business. Like most big businesses lose more customers in a day than you could ever get in a lifetime. It's like, but the net is a gain.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. In the last 30 days, I've reached 1,000% more accounts than my normal.
That's crazy.
52% are non-followers. So
Nice.
split down the middle. 86% from my carousel posts. And yeah, 18% US, 7% Brazil, 3.8% UK. So to me, and it all started with that one, which I think now has almost 10,000 likes on it. Like it's so funny how the motivation was lost because I was getting no engagement or no views on my videos, but then I switched styles to make these carousel posts, which I think are inherently more shareable. And what I've noticed is that if I post a carousel of like 10 slides, somebody will share slide 3 to their stories or their friends, and then someone else will share slide 8. And it's like I'm in one post, I'm giving 10 different opportunities for people to identify one slide that resonates with them the most, and that's the one that they share. It's not the entire post or an entire video that takes you 30 seconds to get to the point in the video where they're identifying with that content. It's instant because it's just an image.
That's really interesting. Do you
So
notice that like the percentage of shares is increased on carousels?
it's insane. It's insane. I've also, and so when I started noticing that, I also then added in a slide at the very end for every single one of these posts that
Yeah,
says,
people are getting rich with AI while you're scrolling on your
while
phone or
you're
something like that.
scrolling, right?
Yeah.
And you
I saw
have
that
to
while I was scrolling.
you have to get to that slide to see what that is. I used to, the whole DM strategy that literally everybody uses now that I was teaching business owners how to do like 2 years ago. I've noticed that if I put that in the caption, it's less, I get less reach because people see it as a upfront call to action, which in people's brains now, like everyone's wired to know that they're being sold at every point in social media, especially on
Mhm.
TikTok. So where in the past I was putting it in the caption of, hey, comment or DM AI SaaS and I'll send you a free guy, blah, blah, blah. I'm now, I now removed that entirely and it's more kind of like sneaky or hidden where if you go and you see all these comments of people commenting AI SaaS, like why are people doing that? Which then leads them to scroll on the post to figure out why people are commenting that because it doesn't say in the caption. So then
Interesting.
engagement and time on screen increases because people are trying to figure it out themselves. And what am I missing? Like why are people doing this and I'm not?
Interesting. Very interesting. So you give the value first. You don't even give the CTA in the caption. It's only on the last slide. The comments are all consistent, and then people go back. They read the comments. They wonder why there's a keyword commented from thousands of different users, and then
Yep.
they scroll through the post. Increases time on screen, and it doesn't feel as salesy because it's the last card in the carousel. It's like you had to get all the value before you even saw the CTA.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Nice. That's really
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah, and I also think putting a a very blatant call to action in your caption that says comment or DM. Instagram, like they know that is like a thing now, and I don't have like hard stats on this, but seems logical to assume that they would decrease the reach of a post if you're trying to have some funny business going on.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I was like, let me just
They
remove
want
it
to
all.
decrease the reach if it's not keeping people on platform. So anything where the CTA is going to drive somebody out of the app, And
Yeah.
presumably that means DMs as well, because the DM is leading somebody to a sales page or book a call or like whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and having people share it to their stories then gets people to click on it, and then they scroll through the whole post. So then they eventually get to that call to action. So it's hitting, I think, even more people than they would have seen in the caption anyways.
That's really interesting.
So very, very interesting. But I just posted another one this morning, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm like, okay, stay consistent with this now. Like stay locked in. You're back in the flow. Keep it moving.
Yep. Yep. For sure. For sure. That's really cool. I'm going to try to take that strategy for Bambi as well.
Yeah, and I saw some of your ones that you did with the carousels where you're showing like the features of the different ones and like the nice gradient backgrounds and things like that. Like I was trying to do that for Stammer as well because I love that idea. I love that concept. And seeing how well it's working over here, I was like, let me try that over on the business account too and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. That's a good idea. I can try to work some of my Figma magic for you.
Have you tried to see if ChatGPT can generate the Figma files?
Honestly, not to the same degree that I can do it.
But
Because,
it
like,
can.
it can
Okay.
totally. And I'm using it. So I'll give you a wonderful example. I'm going to pull
Love
up
it.
my screen and show you all the shit I've been working on because it's honestly crazy week. Crazy week. Let me show you some stuff. Hang on. Give me 1 second.
That was a good little section I'm going to clip out for sure.
Which part?
Just this talking about carousels.
Yeah. The carousel thing is really interesting.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I was using ChatGPT to help us generate a homepage. We were working on new homepages. I think I sent you
Mm-hmm.
I sent you a couple samples of it today. Okay, so we've had like all of these different variations, and you can start to see the evolution of it. And then as I'm creating these, I'm sharing it with ChatGPT to get feedback, but I'm mainly asking for wireframes because it's faster to generate and it's a little bit more pixel perfect. And I know what the branding's going to be. I know the font, the size, the color, the corner rounding, all that stuff. So here's is an example of what ChatGPT gave me. It's like this wireframe of what we're trying to do,
Got it.
which I think is pretty cool. And then we continue to go and like looking a little bit more refined, adding some graphs. So we just have like at this point dozens and dozens of variations, and then we finally landed on here. So this is the primary homepage. So yeah, like ChatGPT did help us with a lot of this, but it's mainly wireframing because it's not going to get the pixel perfect angles of like how we have
Yeah. That makes
like
sense.
look at all the detail in this. Like it would just be impossible to try to generate. So in that sense, it's easier to do through Figma because we already have our whole brand kit that we can just reference from here.
Yeah. The big buttons definitely are better
Yeah, I think so too.
because it immediately draws your eye to, oh, here's what I can do.
Exactly. Yeah, we had another variation of a bunch of smaller buttons that we got rid of, but it was kind of like what's on this page. This
Mm-hmm.
one is live, but there's a lot more actions that you can take if the child is expecting versus an active child. So anyway, they look a little bit different, but yeah, you get the idea. One thing that was super interesting, so we have this whole nutrition feature that's launching on Monday, and image generation, as you can imagine, is something that AI is really good at.
Mm-hmm.
So we started building this feature like 3 or 4 months ago, I want to say, before there was the big like Sora update, before basically Twitter went crazy and everybody's generating images of everything. So we were like buying stock images. We were using Unsplash. I even had a photographer like with an allocated food budget, like and a set to like set all this up. And then the big Sora release happened. I'm like, oh, perfect. So now, dude, my Sora account, it's honestly beautiful. Let me show you.
That's interesting that you're going directly on Sora.
As opposed to
Just in a normal ChatGPT window.
It's way better in Sora, like infinitely better, the output.
Hmm.
So we have over 400 different foods, all generated hyper realistic, all looking pretty much perfect. Some of them you can kind of tell it's AI, like this acorn kind of like you can tell it's not an actual acorn, but it is so close and the consistency is so much better than if you have a separation of like a photographer did some, you got some on Unsplash, you downloaded some stock footage. So now it's just going to look so consistent in the entire app. And then we have this huge Google sheet of information about all of these foods. So we have the nutritional breakdown of every item, how to serve the food for children at different ages, if it's a choking hazard, if there are allergen risks. So we have this massive database of food, and now we have this huge database of images, all contributing to the sleep feature. And I'll take it one step further. The reason why I'm so excited about this is because our biggest competitor in this food feature is a company called Solid Starts. Well, wouldn't you know that a massive percentage of their revenue comes from selling a PDF book version of the content that's inside of their app? That's it.
So
So
of course.
pretty much, yeah. So they use it as a lead
Damn.
magnet. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing because we have all of the images, we have all of the content, and it's way better images and way more detailed content than this multi-million-dollar company that we're up against. Like,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it be easy to just turn this into a lead magnet, a low-cost lead magnet that feeds into the app? So anyway,
100%.
gotta love
Easy.
AI.
Have you used any of the so like when you're creating in Sora, I'm gonna completely change my workflow now because to Sora now because I'm realizing that I'm like missing out on some things here. But have you tried the JSON brand identity for consistent creation, or are you using the same prompt and then just changing a word for the name of the fruit and food?
Um, Good question. We're using the same prompt and we're not changing the word, we're changing the sentence. So it is a lot of manual work. It's a lot of manual prompting. So, for example, we're not saying like, give me a picture of white pasta. We're saying, give me a picture of 5 different bowls of white pasta with
Pasta.
linguine, spaghetti, blah, 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 and this bowl color on this background color with the helix code, with the shadow drawn to the left as if the lighting source is coming from the top right and top center. So it's like a detailed
Okay.
prompt that we're using every time, but we're changing not just the word of potato, strawberry, we're changing the sentence on how we want it to look. We want the strawberry to be sliced. We want the banana to be whole. So it's like all these little things, tiny nuances. It's taken about 3 days of full-time work to do.
So what would be interesting is if you took 5 of your most on-brand photos that you've generated like that so far, you upload all 5 into ChatGPT and then you say, "Hey, look at all 5 of these photos and create a brand identity in JSON as a prompt template." And it will return to you a JSON amount of text that has all of those things that you just said defined in like rules. And then it gives you a more like templated way that's not like it's more code than English.
Hmm.
But from what I found, it's the responses that you get from a JSON prompt are more consistent than what it would be in normal English.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right. It's actually what our devs are doing for uploading creative info into the app. Is we like I am not I'm a non-technical person, so I like upload whatever big Google Sheet or a big Google Doc with images, and then they're converting all of it into a JSON file and then adding it into Superbase before it's logged into the app. Not what you're talking about. You're talking about prompting, but like same principles of using a JSON file to like transmit data.
To do stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I always thought Sora was like the video generation tool. I didn't realize that they had that updated for pictures. because it's
Yeah, they're
basically just now a
individual.
Midjourney killer.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Have you tried V7 on Midjourney?
No, I haven't opened Midjourney in a long time. I haven't even looked at it. I haven't really had a need to. Like Sora's already built into ChatGPT.
It's yeah, and it's like maybe not as good.
Maybe not. Honestly, I haven't even tried it. I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
Yeah. I've been trying to figure out like, who, because I feel like we're watching a live horse race of technology. One pulls ahead and then the other one pulls ahead and then another one, like go just like back and forth like this. But with this last update from ChatGPT and from Midjourney, in my opinion, GPT is almost about to win the race. And Sam Altman tweeted today that he couldn't sleep last night because he's so excited about a new feature they're going to release today. So probably in the next 30 minutes to an hour, we're going to get another world-changing piece of technology, maybe. I don't know.
That's
Who
so
knows?
crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's so, I mean, it's so fascinating to see, and it's so like from you and I's perspective, it's such a fun time to like be alive and working because we collectively embrace this technology as much as possible.
Hmm.
What I've also found is there's so many comments on all of my content recently of AI doomers being like, "This is terrible. You're a piece of shit. Fucking, all these things." Like there's this one. I'll read it to you. It's really hilarious. And I'm trying to comment back like, "Oh, thanks for promoting my algorithm. Appreciate
I
you."
saw your tweet on that. Yeah, thanks for all the doomsdayers for promoting my algorithm.
You're right.
That was funny.
This guy says, no, this is not cool. What's the point of creating art when AI is doing it for us? What's the point of playing an AI generated game when it doesn't have the soul of a human behind it? This is disgusting, foul, and most importantly, people still think your AI generated game is cheap and shit anyway, because we all know they took the cheap way out instead of hiring an actual human. This is dumb and stupid, and people who use AI to create art think it's too hard to pick up a pencil and paper. Get a fucking life. And I commented back, I was like, I hope you have a better day tomorrow. Wishing you the best.
Nice.
Yeah. And dude, so many other people were like, oh, you're so cringe. Uh, Whatever. And I'm like, bro, I'm making content on social media. I know I'm cringe. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm making a good, I'm making money. So I
Yeah,
don't care.
exactly. Yeah.
Like, no, dude, no one cares. Cringe culture, I think, is like, I don't think dead, but like as millennials, we went through that when we were like uploading pictures of our Friday night to public Facebook. People that just don't do that anymore or like have that level of access. And it's
Hmm.
like, I don't care, dude. Like, I know I look silly filming these little videos. Who
Yeah,
cares?
who cares? It's all about money, right? It's
Yeah.
all about making your business work.
And
Plus, you're not getting hate from anybody that's actually doing anything worthwhile.
well, and
Like
that's the
these are
thing. I
people
go,
laying in bed doom scrolling, just shit
yeah.
talking on Instagram. Like who
Like,
fucking cares? You're a loser.
thank you for that's why I tweeted that. I was like, thank you for helping me promote my posts.
Yeah, exactly. While
'Cause,
you're shit talking, I'm making money.
uh,
Which is the
yes,
mean version of what your last carousel slide says. It's like while you're scrolling through Instagram, people are making money with their time.
literally,
Yeah.
literally, yeah. And what I've had to kind of take a step back from is trying to convince people that this is good technology or like that you should be embracing and using it. There's, it's almost like politics. People will not change their mind
Hmm.
from whatever I say. So in that scenario, I want to also engage with those people, but on the other hand, it's just going nowhere. So in that scenario, I'm like, well, sucks that you don't see the value in it because you're going to get left behind probably by everyone who does embrace and use this tech. It's not going away,
Yeah.
and the end consumer doesn't care, and they're not going to know. Like no one, if you put the the AI avatars, that's something that has rapidly like improved over the last 12, 16 months, where 12 months ago you could be like, oh, that's AI. But I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 months ago when I made that video, and I put two videos side by side, and I said the same words, and I was like, can you tell which one is AI and which one is real? And it was like a 50-50 split. And then I came out and said oh, they're both AI.
Yeah.
And people are like, what the fuck? Like, the end consumer, even now today, as this technology is the worst it will ever be, consumers cannot tell the difference between what is AI generated and what's not.
Yeah.
Especially because all the fingers have been fixed. They don't care. So why should we care? In a sense, there's so many arguments around that, but I
Well,
don't
there's
know.
always going to be a moral dilemma for it, but the fact is the genie's out of the bottle. The technology exists. So you can either use it to your advantage. And I'm not saying misuse it and mislead people, but there are obvious benefits of using AI. And if you're, like you said, the average consumer is not going to notice. So if you're not using it, you're just making more work for yourself. It's also just making
Yeah.
people like you and me more efficient. It's not taking away jobs, it's just speeding up the pace at which you can do work. Maybe it is
Yeah.
taking away jobs, but like,
Well, so
uh,
in the example that you gave earlier, where you're like, oh, I'm hiring a photographer and whatever, and now you're just using ChatGPT. That I think is a real world example of quote unquote someone losing a job.
it is, but I thought about this. There's a simple pivot from the perspective of the content creator. You just offer AI generated content as the service. So you can say, "Oh, do you want professional photography or do you want this done through AI? Here's the difference. Here's what we could do from a photo or video perspective, and then here's what it would look like with AI." You can get a little bit more creative, a little more theatrical, but it's not going to have the same granular details. Some people might pick up on the fact that it's AI. When you're posting, you have to identify it with AI labels, which is going to decrease your reach. Like there's a whole other side to pitching this as part of your toolkit, as part of your services. So
Exactly.
you can't be like, we don't use AI. All we use is real people, real cameras. Like, just integrate it as part of your service, and you're going to capture everybody on both sides of the spectrum, and you'll make more money and probably be a lot more efficient.
Creative people will be always creative. And that was one of the things I realized when I started talking to the more creative people in my life, where it's it's like it's just, yeah, it's another tool in their tool chest to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
So in that example that you just gave, like as a photographer, I think it would be sick if you could close a deal for content creation, but then, like you say, include in the deliverables AI variations of that content that you've created, that then gives a better deliverable to the brand or the company that you're doing that content for.
For
So
sure.
instead of five images, you could give them 50.
Mm-hmm. That's really
And
interesting.
the brand, and we all know this, brands and businesses and business owners just want to focus on their business. They don't care and don't want to have to think or worry about, oh, I need to create 50 more assets for ads for the next 3 months. That could be coming directly from the creator themselves.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes the value is in the time saving alone. That can be enough for a business owner to say, sure, that makes a lot of sense for me. I
Yeah,
mean, I do that all the time. Like, I could do this task, but it's going to take me, whatever, 2 hours. I could be spending that time doing the gajillion other things that's on my list. It's
exactly.
just going to speed up the pace of work. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah. More, yeah. And I remember seeing like a meme of it was like it's like a guy taking a photo of somebody, and then there's like an artist riding a bike behind him, like looking over, and the caption is like, "Oh, that's not real art." As he's like holding a paintbrush. And it's like that perspective of someone that is using maybe like the old version, looking at the new version and considering that it's not whatever it may be. I
Hmm.
think that correlates directly to things like, oh, I used to use Photoshop or Illustrator to generate this stuff, but now I could just like, oh, that's not real art because I didn't do all the work in Illustrator. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah. It's kind of like saying, oh, that's not real tech because you used lovable to help generate it. It's like, well, no, it is. Just because I didn't code it doesn't mean that the product doesn't exist and it's not useful.
The whole concepts of vibe coding, vibe marketing, all this stuff, I think it's just like a rebranded no code stuff that,
Yeah.
or whatever, but I
Vibe coding is
absolutely love it.
rebranded no code plus build in public.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, because it's also so much easier to do like a live deployment of the stuff that you vibe coded on, like with Lovable, you can just deploy it to their server and then it pops up as a link that you can then share, and then it's like, oh, that's real. Yeah, it might have glaring security flaws in it, but it's live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I've been
were
using
talking about this one
Lovable.
like a month ago of like the commodity is not even the product anymore. The commodity is the distribution and really your ability to prompt, like your ability to clearly articulate what you want to be created and then
Yeah.
distribute it.
Yeah. And if you're not taking the time to figure out how this technology can be used in your life and your use case, you're doing yourself a disservice. Wouldn't people like to spend more time with their friends and family and not working? Or no? Like,
Yeah.
to me it's such a clear uh but that's what I it's like I can't force that opinion on people. People have to have their own AI aha moment and see that for themselves. Did I tell you about how my mom was using ChatGPT image generation?
No.
She wants to like remodel their backyard in San Diego.
Hmm.
And so I was like, "Oh, well, use ChatGPT." And she was like, "Well, what do you mean?" So I was like, "Oh, well, just take a photo of the house, of the backyard, put it into ChatGPT and tell it what you want it to do." And 2 days later, she sends me like 10 images being like, "OMG." And their generation, like they're pretty good, generated images. And she was telling me how the contractor came to the house to like do it, and she had them all printed out. She printed them out, and she was like nervous about how the contractor would take it. And I'm like, you got to think of it as if you were to draw what you wanted to happen, but instead of it being a rough drawing that no one knows like really what you're talking about, it's a high fidelity image that is perfectly generated to match what is in your head.
Yeah.
Think of how much time that's going to save you and the contractor going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to just to get to the point of we're on the same page. Now within the first 2 hours of working together, you guys are on the same page already. You know exactly the vision of what you want, and it now comes to the contractor to then take that image that's been generated and run it through building code and making sure that there's enough columns to support the thing, like the thing that a normal contractor would do,
Hmm.
all within the context of this is the end goal that I want.
Yeah.
That right there is going to save billions of dollars in the aggregate for everybody doing this type of work.
Yeah. Just the intermediary back and forth trying to explain your thought process. If you can share, you can basically take a picture of what you want in your mind, but even better, because ChatGPT is going to generate it
Yeah.
better than the vision you possibly could have, because it's like it's the collective knowledge of other people. It's just a time saver. Like you said, look
Yeah.
at all the time that they're going to save going back and forth.
Yeah. I want to use like the Instagram I posted this morning was ChatGPT 4.0 image generation for interior design. And I want to actually use that for my house because there's some areas in my house where I'm like, "Oh, I want this to look better, but I am not an interior. I have no idea what I even want or what would
Hmm.
look cool." But now I'm like, "Oh, I could just take a photo of an empty area and be like, make this look like a blah 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 whatever."
And
And
you can prompt it the way that you want. You could be like modern industrial, like high rise apartment building, steel, dark wood, like this color theme. You can tell it
mhm.
the most specific information that you want, and it's and it's not only gonna show you what it could look like, it's gonna give you variations of what you've asked for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, genie's out of the bottle, cat's out of the bag. There's
Yeah,
no going back. Embrace it or die.
pretty much.
Hate to be morbid, but I mean,
Listen, that's what it is.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Any good content recommendations for this week?
Um, Honestly, probably the same as last week. I don't have a lot of chill time, so the 44 Harsh Truths About Human Nature with Naval Ravikant.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably still the top one. I haven't seen anything much better lately.
Yeah. This weekend is Masters and Coachella. So
Nice.
I'll be watching the live streams of both probably. I was watching Ultra Miami live streams last week. I always like do this because it brings me back to the whole Shades on Party days of how I like was watching those live streams, seeing, you know, so it's like it brings me back to seeing that, and it's so funny to see what you know what the young crowd is wearing or how they're acting, and just from a you know a high level view. But
Mhm.
I'm very curious to see also what happens at Coachella, and you know it always feels like this is kind of the kickoff of summer, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. I'm interested to see the product placement at the Masters, because there are so many sick golf brands that have popped up in the
Yep.
past couple of years, and some of them are huge now. Uh, so I mean, I'm seeing like Bad Birdie pop up. I'm seeing Ghost Golf, obviously. Like, there's a bunch of really cool brands that. Anyway, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I saw Phil Mickelson did like an unboxing of a brand or a company that like printed him in like minifigures on his shirt, and they had it all like compiled and pressed into like, oh, here's what you wear for Thursday, here's what you wear for Friday, and like on and on. And I was like,
Interesting.
oh, that's sick because you could flip that around and be like, want to look like Phil and like buy this look. I thought that would
Yeah.
be like, imagine if they had an AI thing that said, imagine what you would look like wearing that outfit.
That dude, that's a
That would be
huge
sick.
application for e-com brands. I'm seeing this everywhere. Like, there's a sick lifestyle shot, but they don't have the flat lay, and you upload it
Yeah.
and say, "Give me the flat lay of the product," or vice versa. You say, "Give me the lifestyle shot on whatever 30-year-old fit male 6'2" with a beard,"
Yep.
and and it's the coolest. You would not know it's AI, like you're saying before.
Yeah. Yeah. The I think one of the coolest ones, so flat lay, great choice. One of the ones that I was always curious about how they did it was the ghost mannequins. And I think in the past it was straight up Photoshop or like you'd put the piece of clothing on a mannequin and then you would mask out the mannequin, and then but like now you could just yeah, take a photo of yourself and be like make this a ghost, and it makes it like the perfect circular, like it looks like someone's wearing it but there's nobody in there. Like that type of shot is like what you see at every Nordstrom's and Cole, like every place, every brand has those types of shots, and now you could do them in one prompt. Like
Hmm.
every ecom brand and like every clothing apparel company needs to have all of these now because it's essentially free.
Yeah,
Essentially, I mean,
yeah,
$20 a month
relatively.
is for a business is basically free.
But see, I bet you they're still going to source agencies, not necessarily to take the photo, but they're going to find agencies that can do the prompt work and generate the images and save them time and like give them 50 variations that they can choose from.
Exactly.
It's There's still going to be an exchange of services. The service is just evolved.
Yes, exactly. Like what we were saying, oh, are you using JSON to have a brand identity? Like the business is not going to know how to do that, but some cracked AI teenager is going to know exactly how to do that.
100%. Yeah.
I'm very much bullish on that person than the company figuring it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
I mean,
that's
it
why a lot of
truly
people
has
are,
never been easier, but because of that, there's just a lot of competition. So it still requires a lot of hard work because everybody has access to the same tools as you do.
yeah. Yeah. And then, like you said, it goes back to distribution. How do we get in front of more people?
Yeah, which is something that you're pretty good at.
Getting better every day.
This has been a good one.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody.